Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Red Forrest. I'm Peyton.
This is Adam.
And this is going to be a new series called Staying on Topic. And today's discussion is America.
America.
So in this topic, since it is the 4th of July, so if you hear some, it sounds like bombs are dropping off, it's fireworks.
We promise.
Pretty positive. Not entirely sure. I can't see out there right now, but I'm hoping it is.
Guess we'll find out later.
This will be like Red Dawn.
That would be horrible. Hey, it's 4th of July, so you never know.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, Adam, start us out.
Well, first thing, there's actually a lot of misconception that America was founded, or America was founded, during the Declaration of Independence was signed August 2nd of 1776. But in our reality, it wasn't. It wasn't until literally almost 8 years later, on May 12th of 1784, that America was actually founded.
So, when exactly did America? When did the Pilgrims get here?
That I'm not. Hey, let me check here, and I can let you know.
Okay. Because a lot of people always say America didn't declare its independence right away, which is understandable. You got to build some ground before you can actually set everything into motion.
And what started it was the Declaration of Independence being signed, by saying, Britain, we're no longer with you. We decided we're wanting to do something else. We're doing our own thing over here. Leave us alone. And then they tried to.
It's kind of like that Office meme that's on Facebook. Is just because you sign a piece of paper doesn't mean that you're an actual country. And he was like, I didn't say it. I declared it.
The Pilgrims actually landed in 1620. November 11th of 1620.
1620.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
That's when I guess that's when we actually decided to come over here and try to explore.
In your opinion, what does it mean to be an American?
To be an American?
To be an American.
Being free.
Damn right.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Nobody can stop me from pursuing being happy, to having a life, and, nobody can just take away my freedoms that I have.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Bill of Rights. That says it all.
I believe, out of all the countries in this world, we do declare to be the most free, and we are, compared to a lot of these other countries that are living in, basically, I'm not going to say, basically living in communists like China, and places like that. I don't know how the people actually are okay with it, but a lot of people will defend them.
Because that's all they know.
And a lot of, people look at America like we're just a bunch of gun-loving people, overweight, puts cheese on everything, which I'm not going to say any of those are wrong. But we are different from every country, and I think that was the intention. That's why we measure everything differently. That's why, kilograms and pounds and all that. Pounds too, Britain is their currency.
I mean, with us, we're, like you said, we definitely are different in a lot of ways. I mean, we're the same in certain ways. Almost every country has taxes and all that kind of stuff. So there's certain things that we are the same about, but more or less, we are the only country that we have the most freedoms that we do. And that can come with issues.
Yes.
Because everybody having their freedoms, freedom of speech. You can say what you want to say, anything short of a call to violence.
Yes.
You can say anything you want to say. And, people agree, people disagree with what you got to say. And with that, like, that's when issues can arise with certain things. Does that mean we shouldn't have it?
Mm-hmm.
No. Not by any means. But at the same time, like, having those freedoms is going to cause issues.
Yes.
Between people. People's opinion on, anything and everything.
And America is full of good times and bad times. Times we've made mistakes, sometimes that we've done a lot of good things. But I think the point is, for all the bad things that we've done as a country, is that we learn from it. That's why you can't erase history.
I agree.
There's no reason to ignore a fact that something happened, because regardless, it did. You can't change it, move forward. And if you don't learn from those mistakes, then you're bound to repeat it.
Exactly. That's why in school you are taught history.
Yes.
So you don't make that mistake in the future. Yeah, we've done some really messed up stuff in the past.
Yes.
Like you said, we've done bad things, but at the same time, we are the closest of being a perfect country compared to any other country that's in the history of this world. We're the closest to being perfect. Does that mean we are perfect? No, we're way from being perfect. But when it comes to the fact of just the country overall, we are one of the best.
Like, one of the issues now, at least, is that we're divided in more groups than we are together as a country. And it's horrible to think about, because at least my opinion is, I think the issue is labels. If you put labels on people, then it's going to outcast them into other groups, and that group builds, and more people in that group, it's going to lash back out if you name someone else different. So more and more groups happen, more and more division.
The only label that should be on anybody is American.
Correct.
Being an American.
Yes.
That's not race, sex, religion, nothing. Politics, nothing. It's just American.
Because, I think, at least in the past 10 years, at least, that politics have become more a part of our culture than what it probably even should, honestly.
Which that can be good and bad.
Yeah, good and bad.
Because the more everybody knows about politics, the more everybody's aware about it. And the more people are aware, which means less the government can do what they want to do.
And with your opinions and my opinion, they're different, but I still respect you for your opinions.
And we also have things in common too.
Yes. For instance, gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and a lot of my opinions are different from everyone around me, but I don't believe you should be able to take people's guns away. I don't believe that you shouldn't raise the prices on ammunition.
Mm-hmm.
It's our right, and yes, I understand, a lot of people don't like M16s, AK-47s, and because of how they look. But in reality, let's say...
Scary, they're bad.
A 30-30 round is, I think, bigger than a 5.56.
Mm-hmm. A 5.56 is actually pretty small. It's literally 2.23. It's almost the exact same size as a 2.23.
But it's just because of how, with a hunting rifle, it's very sleek design, has wood, and it's meant to hunt, which a M16 could also be used to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's multi-purpose, but it's just because of how tactical it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It puts a label on it, and that goes again with labels, not just with people, but with things also.
I mean, if you look at it like movies, movies, video games, all this stuff that's out there that portrays these things as weapons of war. Mm-hmm. I think weapons of war is probably nukes, missiles, jets.
Now, I'm not saying like you have the right to go out and buy a hand grenade or anything like that.
God, no, that'd be. It's like
the last thing you need is
dang, my neighbor's dog's barking too much. Throws it out the window.
Because just imagine if you're able to buy explosives like that. That means like, it's like, let's say for example, a little Girl Scout goes and knocks on the door, and she goes through a claymore. She's gone.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you should be put in jail.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain things that make sense, and there's a lot of
misconceptions,
and there's convincing arguments of why guns should be more regulated.
I can understand.
Yeah,
them.
From mass shootings, all that kind of stuff. But more or less, I think with most of that, it's just mental.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people out there more now than ever that are unstable.
Correct.
So we don't, that's one thing that I think everybody should take care of more than anything, is being mentally stable more than weapons themselves.
So are you saying, like, for example, like, you think, like, to get your license should be, like, more strict, like more of a extended background check for mental health?
I think what it should be is, maybe a little bit more lessons taught.
Okay.
I think more or less of like just doing less background check of
more training.
The best thing I could see is like scenarios. They put you through. They ask you they put you through fake scenarios and what you would do in that situation. Mm-hmm. Because depending on the answers, if they say somebody busted on your door, mm-hmm. and you're just like, well, I'm just going to start shooting them. You're probably have a shorter fuse, and should probably be taken in consideration compared to someone that's like breaking down the door. Well, I'm going to pull my gun out and I'm going to hold them there, wait for the police to come, unless they try something like that. I
think because, like, for instance, if you get your concealed carry, you basically just need $100 and no training, which in a way is good, in a way is bad. There's pros and cons of just about everything. Like, it is convenient that you can get it that easy, but it's also a kind of a scary thought that you can get it that easy. But in reality, I doubt if you're going to be shooting up a place, you're going to go out your way to get fingerprinted and show yourself.
And going through things when you could easily just buy a gun from someone that's not registered to you.
Yes.
Which, that's where sometimes they buy a gun and then they go crazy. Mm-hmm. Which is where mental stability comes in on stuff like that. But, on anything like that, like, that's one thing that separates us from every other country is guns. How we do have guns.
Yes.
And the average citizen can go out here and do everything that they want, get a gun and everything and protect themselves, because that's where, life, you have the right to live, and nobody should be able to take that away from you.
That is very true, because, like I know, like, with the gun laws in, like, Britain, it's very strict. You're not allowed to have handguns, which in a way makes more sense than what America's doing by going after the M16s, assault rifles in general. So, because you can easily conceal a pistol or a revolver, but you can't really conceal a assault rifle.
No, you can't. I mean, that there are certain things that's no country's ever going to be perfect. There's always going to
Correct.
be some kind of issue going on, but more or less, at least we have a way to defend ourselves if somebody breaks in your house.
Yes.
Breaks into the house, something like that. If we, or trying to kill us, we have that. We have that, that right to be able to defend ourselves just in case, and everything. But what, when it comes to certain things, what's your favorite president?
JFK.
Mine too, actually.
I believe, like, with JFK, a lot of people says he didn't do a lot, but he really did. Because I'm not good with explaining. Just...
What's one thing that makes him your favorite?
Well, for one thing, I believe to be president, you have to at least have some form of military background. I say at least, like...
Just a basic 4 years at least.
Basic 4 years. At least, because if you show enough love for your country to serve it, then you have the right to be president.
Mhm.
And I believe the last president that do that was George W. Bush.
And I agree with that because you are, commander-in-chief. You are
Yes.
commanding the military on anything. So if you have that mentality of tactics and knowing what's like being in there, you're going to make different decisions compared to someone that gone to politics, maybe went to
Yeah.
school for politics, and then became president.
Mm-hmm.
They won't know everything that goes on until they're in the military because you can be president, be looking at all these research papers and all this kind of stuff, and looking at all these things like, oh, this is what happens if you're in, but it won't really hit you unless you're in yourself.
It used to be like if you were like the president of the United States, you're on the lines with your men, kind of like with George Washington.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's more of like if you're the one in charge, you're basically sitting behind a desk telling people what to do, and you don't have to experience it for yourself.
Yep.
That includes even like the Secretary of the Navy and
Secretary of Defense and all those.
Because keep in mind they did serve their time, but you could be the Secretary of Defense and not even serve in the military. Now that should be an obvious.
Because you're in charge of America's defense.
Yes. So you have to have a better understanding for the military than just observing.
And like even if they didn't change with the president about having to at least serve in the military 4 years or anything like that,
Yes.
at least have Secretary of Defense because Secretary of Defense advises the president of the best options to take during a war or something like that. So
Agreed.
I mean, one thing I think I liked about him, I think it's just hilarious how it's not a thing that a lot of people, I guess, think of when they think of him, but the fact that whenever we put, tariffs and everything on Cuba and no trade with them, and he just decided to buy a bunch of cigars right before it happened and then declared to, hey, we don't need to do this, we need to stop. I think that's hilarious.
And
itself.
that ban stayed in effect until I think it was 2010, 2012, something, because President Obama was the one who got rid of it.
I mean,
he was very proud about it too because he mentioned it a lot.
and one thing that showed he had integrity.
Yes.
Was just the fact that when we decided, let me see here. I actually have it up right here. There's this operation called Operation Northwoods, which was planned for a false attack.
Yes.
To basically Cuba attacked us, so we can go out there and invade Cuba and take it over. And he said no. He was like, we're not going to do that. That's not something we do here. And with that just shows that he's not just going to do whatever he wants to do to get an agenda.
Yes.
To do what he wants. If he wants to invade Cuba, then they're actually going to attack us. or do something against us first before we invade Cuba. And that's what his thing was. Which, there's conspiracies on reasons why he got assassinated. And so like that, because he stopped a lot of stuff that the, other parts of the government wanted to do.
Yeah.
There's theories about what it could do, but in the end, he did get assassinated.
Yeah.
And imagine what this world, this country might have been if he didn't get assassinated. Would it change more or less than what it is now? Probably, maybe not. But he, it could have been
probably not enough to notice.
Yeah, but you never know. He could have done something really good.
That's true.
Changed everything. But I mean, he was overall, I think, one of the best presidents. Just, I think that reason sticks out the most. How he just was like, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't going to do a false flag just to invade Cuba.
I think with like most people, the most talked about presidents, which is most people's favorites. Most of them I hear is JFK and Ronald Reagan. Both good presidents.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like JFK. A lot of people don't like Reagan. I think it really just depends on your point of view of it.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot deny that both presidents have done good, because you have to look at it. You gotta look at things through their perspective of why they did certain things, and if you can understand it, then you can agree with them.
It's all about perspective.
Yes.
On anything and everything you do, it's going to be a perspective on it. If certain things people have to do, and you're like I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But you wasn't in their shoes when they had to make that
Decision
on what they needed to do. I mean, you can still hear those fireworks going off.
Do you think one of the advantages that the United States has by being the superpower is that we're also away from basically everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why we haven't really been invaded any, is because geographically where we're located, I know Canada's not going to give in and be like,
no,
we'll let you pass through us. And Mexico isn't going to do it either. Because actually Hitler tried to do that. Try to bribe the Mexican government to let them come in and invade the U.S. And they was like, no, we ain't
shows how faithful they really are.
And the fact that
they're
right near us, so they don't want to get us mad at them. And that would leave, only thing they could do would be attack from the east or the west. Mm-hmm. And both sides are filled with military bases everywhere down the east coast and west coast. So
you can never be too careful.
No. And I mean, at that point with that, that's why I think the reason why we haven't been invaded, because two countries that are allies that doesn't want to make us mad at them, and then the east and west coast where it's locked down like a fortress on both sides. So there's no way them going to even. Well, they either going to take maybe as Alaska. Maybe they might get Alaska just because it's
kind of in the corner.
It's in the corner away from us, above Canada.
Actually, I think Hawaii would be yeah.
Maybe they could probably take. Yeah, Hawaii would probably be the easiest to take because it's islands.
Yeah, because I think Hawaii has the biggest disadvantage. Like even Puerto Rico, which is a territory of the United States, it's still surrounded by a lot of other stuff.
And Canada, and Alaska is
right next to Canada, literally.
Yeah. So they ain't gonna probably take, Hawaii would probably be the easiest, but they took some islands.
Yeah.
Oh no. Then we bomb the islands and we're good. We take it back.
American people you're talking about.
Some decisions have to be made. No. But, I mean, America's, thing is like other countries get a thing of America like, and usually sometimes it's their government that tells them, how America is. And stuff like that. Because there's a lot of countries, the only news they see about America is mass shootings, riots, all you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, bad things about America, what we do wrong. But at the same time, you look at it, and us Americans, we're probably one of the most stubborn people.
Amen.
Which is good and bad. Bad because when you're stubborn, you kind of don't like to listen to other people's ideas. But it's good.
Absolutely everyone I know.
Yeah.
It's the American way.
But in the other hand of being good, if you think about it, it's America. I mean, you know, we're going to be stubborn, and that's what would help us if we somehow ever did get invaded or whatever happens. We're going to be stubborn. We're going to be like, no. You're going to have those redneck hillbillies up in the woods. That'd probably, if we ever invade, it'd probably be our last hope. All those people up in the woods.
Because I think, like, there's a lot of laws in the United States that really doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
But that really depends on your state that you live in.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I did not know that it was actually... I think it was illegal. I'm not sure if it still is that no American is allowed to wear the United States flag on objects.
Mm.
But we're... Right now, literally almost 90% of the stuff that we have has the American flag on it.
Yeah.
Like from shirts to hats.
Napkins.
Plates. Literally everything has the American flag on it. And it just shows how much patriotism that this country really has.
Hmm.
And you don't really see that in other countries. I think Britain does it a little, but nowhere near as America does it.
I mean, I think 3/4 of the people, if it came down to it, would defend this country with everything they have. I mean, that's just what it, you know, because I think that's how it's the American way, which isn't much different from other countries. You know, when it comes to fighting for their country, propaganda, all that kind of stuff. Because of course your government's going to make you think that your government is the best thing ever, and you're going to fight for it. But when it comes to patriotic wise, we are the most patriotic when it comes to the fact that, I mean, look at 4th of July. There's fireworks everywhere on 4th of July.
Yes.
And I mean, there's an American flag on everything. We closed down places just to celebrate 4th of July.
So, whenever I said it was illegal, I don't think it's illegal to wear the flag, but it says in section 176 of talking about the flag from the government, it says no disrespect should be shown to the flag of the United States. Flag should not be dipped to any person or thing. The state flag or organizations, institutional flags are to be dipped as mark of honor. But whenever it talks about it should not be worn as apparel, not hats, it is unacceptable for the United States flag to be worn as apparel, bedding, while people are thinking the flag code states that you can't wear the flag apparel, including a cape. So basically saying you can't wear the flag on anything. But I think it's one of those things where so many people do it, they just kind of shut up about it.
I think maybe what they're really thinking, like,
if it's disrespect,
if it's an actual flag itself, I feel like, because you could have like a American flag design.
Yeah.
But like if I took the American flag and I wrapped it around my body and called it a shirt, that would be, would the police arrest me for it?
No.
No. It's just like you ain't supposed to burn the American flag unless it touches the ground.
Yes.
And
or if it's like so far gone and you basically retire the flag.
Yeah, but you see videos all the time. There's people out there that burn the American flag just to make a statement on things.
Yes.
Do you see them getting arrested?
No.
No.
It's kind of one of those things where you don't like it, but you can't really do much about it. It's just respect.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like think of the flag more as a representing the United States military, because they're the ones who defend this country. And if you're burning the flag, a lot of people think like if you do that, then you really don't care about the men and women that are fighting for this country, which I understand. And I mean, I don't like it when people burn the flag. Do I believe that people overreact? Yes, but I don't like it. But you arguing about something is not going to change it. And do I think it's disrespectful to burn the flag? Yes. Do I like it? Not at all. Can I do anything about it? Technically, no. It's like you said, it's just something you have to... You can bicker about it, but you can't force any legal action on them.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things, like, it's illegal, but cops ain't gonna go out their way just to arrest somebody on something like that. And there is, when you look at someone that's burning the flag, it makes you angry.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't just, there ain't much you can really do about it.
No. And
go ahead.
Another reason is like for instance, when you were in school, every morning you stand up for the pledge, and you don't have to believe anything, but it's basically you do it for respect.
Mm-hmm.
And in school, there was these people that would just sit during the pledge just to be like, well, if you're not a Christian, you don't say under God, and that's your opinion, but it's not necessarily religious. It's more of just showing respect for the country that you're in. If you don't like it, then you can leave.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, this is our opinion on everything. I'm not saying that what we say is right. I'm not saying what we say is wrong.
Correct.
It's just what we believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what the red, white, and blue means on the American flag?
The reds is for blood that is like that the men and women.
It is. So what they mean on this is,
because red, white, and blue it means a lot of different things to, honestly, individuals. Because when you say red, white, and blue, first thing you think of is America, but they're not the only country with the red, white, and blue.
That is true. Red actually means hardness and valor.
Hardness and valor.
Mm-hmm. White signifies purity and innocence.
Kind of like a wedding dress for when you get married for a woman.
And blue is the color of the chief.
Blue is the color of the chief.
The broad band above the stripes. And basically, it's...
I don't understand the blue for the chief.
Yeah, signifies... basically... Okay, so the color of the chief, but what is the blue? I misread it. The blue, which is the color of the chief, meaning they call that the chief. The blue part?
Yes.
Is chief.
Okay.
It signifies vigilance, perseverance, and justice. Does that make sense? Usually they were, like with the blue flag for cops.
Does it matter which flag it is? Because that's the Betsy Ross flag.
I guess just the, red, white, and blue in general.
Okay.
And that's what those mean on that. Yeah, I think the stars... I think there's 13.
13 colonies.
For the 13 colonies.
And
I think there's an actual American flag there that's like 50 stars. But they was trying to change it to they wanted to change it to 50 stars for 50 states.
Not counting Wait, what?
No territories, just states, actual states. 'Cause
Okay.
If you say United States of America.
United. Well, yeah, but it's still a fact that those territories are counted as territories of America, so it is a part of America.
I think there's differences between states and territories.
Because you were talking about how they're trying to make a flag that has 50 stars on it.
Mm-hmm.
The flag does have 50 stars.
What do you mean?
The United States flag does have 50 stars on it.
Well, there's a lot of places that fly that.
Oh, the 13 colonies?
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a lot of
There's even
flags.
people down the street that fly it. I think the 13 colonies, the Betsy Ross flag has made a huge comeback.
Mhm.
And I think for a while, the United States government has kind of like basically shunned this flag too. It's kind of because it's part of history. They want us to forget it.
Yeah.
But during the inauguration, they flew all the flags. The 13 colonies, of course, the American flag, and the one before that. I don't know the name of it.
There's a flag before.
Yeah, there was right before it.
Okay, so we was talking about states and territories.
Yes.
Okay, so territories, unlike the territories, they have their own governments and elect their own governors, so
Yeah.
like that. But territories do not have a vote in Congress, and they also have no electoral votes in the presidential election.
In a way, I guess that makes sense. But so couldn't you technically fly to Puerto Rico or something without a passport, or would you need a passport?
I think I'm not sure.
Because do you need a passport to go to Hawaii? You wouldn't think, since it's a part of the country, you would.
Maybe you do because it's off mainland.
Yeah.
Mainland of America, maybe. Let's see. The 7 territories of the U.S.: Puerto Rico, Guam, U.S. Virgin Islands, Northern Mariana Islands.
Mediterranean?
No, Mariana. Mariana.
Okay.
American Samoa, Midway Atoll, Palmyra,
It's a lot more
Atoll.
territories than I thought.
and Baker Island.
Baker Island. It's an odd name. Where is it? Was it around? Is it like near where Puerto Rico and other stuff is? Like right below America? Like right below Mexico, actually? Or is it?
No, I don't know where all of them are. Only ones I knew about was Puerto Rico, Guam, and that's it that I actually knew about. I actually just seen a thing here on Google that says, "Is Japan a U.S. territory?" Makes me wonder.
Okay. Baker's Island is between Hawaii and Australia in the Pacific.
Oh.
That's pretty far.
Yeah.
Pretty far away. That's not horrible. That's not bad, I guess.
That's not bad. Like in all reality, everything that happens, no matter what it is, I think the only thing that I think everybody should that should count,
Yes.
besides political views,
Mm-hmm.
your views on everything, is that we're all American.
Correct.
And we're all, since we are American, we are stuck here in America. Unless you want to go, move somewhere else, which that's on you. But, just as being an American, I think America should be what should matter the most. No matter what your political views, as long as it's America whoever you vote for, whatever, as long as they're saying America first.
Mm-hmm.
That should all that's matter.
Correct.
And I think we should go by Declaration of Independence. I think we should go by all this stuff because them trying to erase history on certain things, all that kind of stuff with Declaration of Independence. Bill, right? That's the law.
Can't change. Well, you
That's
could, but
you technically it can change, but I think that's the one thing that should be off limits.
yes.
That you should never ever be able to change.
A lot of people argue, well, times are different now than they was in 1776. Well, that might be true,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still, this country was built on those laws, and you can't just, because especially with right now with cancel culture and all that, how they, for instance, it all, with all these different people that they're trying to erase from history, but regardless of your views, regardless of your opinion, history has a purpose.
Mm-hmm. And it might not be the best.
No.
Like we said before, it's clearly we've done a lot of things wrong,
Correct.
but that's
How are we supposed to learn from it if we forget it?
exactly. And we, when you learn from it, when you learn, that means you fix it.
Yes.
You fix what happens. You can't fix the past because it's already in the past. It's down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever we do from this point forward is what matters. Because if as they say, if you live in the past, I mean you ain't going to fix the future if you live in the past.
That's why, goes back to cancel culture and all that. It might offend you. It might bother you about what has happened, but is forgetting about it really going to fix your issue? Because it's still going to be in your head, and I think it's more of lines of I can understand their point, doesn't make it right, but you can't just avoid a problem. It's kind of like ignoring a problem when you know you have to get it done.
It's putting a Band-Aid on a big giant, your leg gets cut off and you put a Band-Aid on it.
It's not going to fix it.
It ain't going to fix it. It might help you for a few minutes, maybe, being a Band-Aid, but it ain't going to fix the issue. You have to hit your issue straight on and fix it right then, not just slap Band-Aid on it. Well, let's just forget about what happened in the past. But if we forget about it, you're not fixing nothing.
I even think like with cancel culture, it got so big, and they've gotten power hungry because they're even going for things that aren't even necessarily racist or anything like that. They go for stuff like for instance, maple syrup, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben.
He has good rice.
Those are people of history that did good, and you're basically going to, just because what happened to them was wrong, means you're going to ignore them too. They're the ones who worked hard enough to show that they wasn't just like anyone else. They were able to fight and do something else. That's basically saying Martin Luther King didn't do anything. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore history.
And I mean, just plain said, when it comes down to it,
I'm not saying Aunt Jemima did more than
nothing like
Martin
that.
Luther King.
And you people listening, you might have a different opinion.
Yes,
which is fine and dandy.
Mm.
If you're watching and listening on YouTube, leave a comment, have a little civil discourse and talk about everything. I mean, that's what people get wrong.
Yes.
When you pick a side, you don't talk about the only thing you talk about is your point of view.
Correct.
If everybody just stop yelling over each other and stop calling each other names and thinking if you don't have the same point of view as me, then you're the enemy. If we actually talked about it, guarantee we'll come up with a solution much faster to fix issues than just punch each other in the face and then somehow finding a solution later on.
Because, like, we all bleed the same red, white, and blue.
Yeah, America.
But we all live day by day in America. We all pay taxes. We go to work. We all live our lives the same way that everyone else do. But just because we have different opinions, it's kind of like opinions now with politics is treated like you just said an insult about someone's mother or something, when it should be more of like...
You were talking about my mother. She's a nice lady.
Should be more of like a conversation, like if you... Like, for instance, like with... Let's say like a movie or something. You have your opinion on it, and I have my opinion on it.
If you don't like The Office, then I don't know why you're watching us or listening to us. The Office is better than Friends.
No, you can't compare the two.
Office is better than Friends.
You can't compare the two. They're two different kinds of comedies. The simple fact is, like, get off your high horse. You are just like everyone else. There's no one that's more important. Like, you're not as much as important as anyone else in this country. It's okay to be wrong. And a lot of people, that's kind of like with, like, a compulsive liar. Like, once you know that they're lying, they'll keep lying. It's kind of like they're in denial about even if you show them proof. Which you shouldn't force your opinion on someone else.
No, everybody has a right to believe what they want to believe.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that what you believe in is right. Doesn't mean what they believe in is right. The simple, like I said, simple fact of the day, we're all Americans.
Yes.
And as American, the only thing that should matter is moving this country forward and staying America. There's a reason.
Damn right.
Yeah, we might not be that old of a country. I mean...
Yeah, we're not the oldest.
I mean, it's like two and a half lifetimes. I mean, of us being here. But there's a reason why we're still here. That we haven't failed. Some people might say we're failing. Some people might say we're doing great.
I think it mainly, like, especially with, like, a lot of people say, like, this is around the end of time soon. But people's been saying that for about 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't, either way, it's going to, nobody knows when all that stuff's going to happen.
Correct.
Nobody knows. A lot of people think this country's going to hell in a handbasket.
You don't know that yet.
No.
None of
and
us.
I think eventually, if things going to move, people are going to move past things, and we're going to come to solutions to problems, and we're going to grow even more. Maybe we'll take over, and this be United World of America.
What?
You never know. World domination.
No.
That's the next plan. Once we figure out our issues here, we start expanding. And after we do this, we start taking over other worlds.
Okay.
Elon Musk will be the head of the...
He's South African.
SpaceX.
He's South African.
SpaceX, though. That's going to be what's going to take us to other worlds.
So a person who's not American is going to help.
But he lives in America.
He lives in
So
America.
he is American. If you live here and you have citizenship here, then you are great.
Well, yes. You're right about that, obviously. But he was still born in South Africa.
And he came here.
Well, that's like Ted Cruz. He was born in Canada.
And he came here.
Which I don't really understand that, because Ted Cruz was allowed to run for president, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's not. If you think about it, He was born outside the country.
Rules just might be changing. I don't know, but
Because if people that was born outside the country could run, Arnold would, because he loves America more than he loves Austria.
I'd love to have Arnold as
President
president.
Schwarzenegger.
Well, imagine that. He does. Next thing you know, a country insults us, and all of a sudden you see him go, "Ah!" And then all of a sudden he goes and attacks the country himself. No help.
I think the issue with Schwarzenegger as president, he would quote his movies way too much.
And you know what? He'd probably put every single person in America on a fitness plan for it all to look like him.
He's going to be disappointed because people love McDonald's way too much.
You are correct. But at the same time, it would be good. I would watch every one of his speeches. I'd quit what I was doing immediately and watch his speeches just to hear him talk. Maybe The Rock will run for president.
I doubt it. Maybe in about 15 years.
Because he just does his eyebrow. And then
Boom.
every
Votes.
country surrenders to America. Goes back to the world domination for America.
I think that when you're an American, you don't need to bash this country if you live in it. If you don't like it, like I said, you're more than welcome to leave. But that's with anyone. You're more than welcome to do just about anything.
If you think about it, people, other countries, if you say you don't like China, you know what's going to happen? You'll disappear. You will disappear off the face of this earth, and nobody know where you're at. But in America, you can bash this country all you want, and guess what? You're still here.
Whenever, like, for instance, the movie actor Jet Li, he was born in China, and he made a career for himself in China, but he left China for the longest time because the movie industry in China was ran by the Chinese mafia, so he left. It shows that if the Chinese mafia probably had more ties with stuff besides movies, if they're able to basically run the whole thing, they have their hands in other people's plates.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just like anything. Money talks.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, money's going to talk.
But I don't know. I don't live in China. Never been to China.
I mean, everybody to their own thing, and I think, I can't say no country's better than another country because look at North Korea. Clearly, it's not good. I mean, they need a little bit of a little freedom. Then you go knocking on their door and ask them if they want some freedom. If they deny it, we bust through.
It's pretty bad when he's the only big person in the country.
They make a good point. Maybe he could use some fitness lessons from Arnold. Well, imagine him becoming president and then going to North Korea and getting him fit, and all of a sudden we have Kim Jong-un. That's an Asian Arnold.
That's a scary thought.
You never know.
Not only is he the ruler of North Korea, but now he's full of testosterone more than he probably even was. So.
Oh yeah.
So that's,
maybe let's not do that.
Let's not do that.
We have to talk Arnold out of doing that now. We know you want to get everybody fit. He's not the person to do it.
You gotta give Arnold that because I think Arnold is the prime example of the American dream. It's because he was in the Austrian army, and he left to pursue a career in bodybuilding. Then he became a movie star in America, and he fell in love with California, and that's all he ever talks about.
And he became governor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he moved up, and he came here from another country. Which proves if you can make something of yourself here.
And it's not likely for California to have a Republican governor. And so that was surprising that even happened. It might have been because I don't think it was because he was a movie star.
Yeah, I feel like
it might have helped.
It definitely helped. It definitely helped him on that. I mean, just like if The Rock ran for president, it would help out a lot that he's a good actor. I mean, and wrestler.
Now with basically closing statements is we're all Americans, unless you're not, and you do your own thing. But
I still love America. I'm kidding.
We are divided, yes, but I feel like deep down we're all here for each other.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of persuasion, and it's kind of like how when a tragedy happens, America comes together, which is a horrible thing to think about. That has to bring us together.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, we're all family.
We should all help each other out. Give her a pat on the back.
Don't do that. You might look like a creep just walking up to someone random and say thank you.
I mean, yeah, but just help each other. No matter your race, religion, sex, your political views, everything. We should be all looking out for each other, because in our reality, everybody's here on a floating rock.
Yes.
Going through space. We only have so much places to go. If we could just love each other for who we are.
Yes.
If you're American, not American, no matter who you are, just go, help your neighbor.
Yeah.
Be
a good person.
Be a good person. I think if everybody started just trying to be just a little bit better to each other, that would cause that other person to be good too. Mm-hmm. And then it would spread.
Because the more hate you give someone, the more negative they'll be.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll do that same thing to someone else. And like you said, it's like domino effect.
Mm-hmm. And, the only thing everybody has to do is just be nice to each other. No matter who you are, what you believe in, be nice.
It might be hard at first if you've never been nice, but I feel like in the long run it'll be worth it to not just you, but to make the other person happy.
Mm-hmm. And we should all be happy. Pursuit of happiness.
Yes. Well, I appreciate you all listening in and watching. And anything you want to leave with?
Well, definitely. If you're watching, listen on YouTube, leave a comment. Anything we can do better, or if you just want to come and chit chat, we'll be more than happy to talk to you, and have a little discourse, and if you're on Spotify,
Apple Podcasts,
Apple
or whatever
Podcasts,
you're listening on,
definitely let us know how we did, and if you liked what you heard, share it, let other people listen to it as well, see if they like it, and if you don't like it, then you need to tell us what we can do better.
Constructive criticism.
It goes a long way.
Yes.
And, we both definitely do enjoy, you listening to us and watching us if you're on YouTube. And, if there's any topics you want us to talk about,
feel free to leave a comment.
Definitely leave a comment. Let us know what we, like I said, what we can do better. If you have any topics you want to talk about, and we'll definitely talk about it. And we just might ramble on different things.
Yes.
Hey, I still haven't forgot Bigfoot. Just letting you know. He's still in my head. He's still there. I believe in him. Well, I should.
We appreciate you listening in and watching. And if you're American or whatever celebration you have, I hope you have a amazing Independence Day, and I hope you have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.